Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Happy April 27th. We did get some updates over the weekend. For those of you familiar with Executive Order 37, which was issued, I believe, on like April 8th, that was part of a product of a movement of the MSBA as well as other organizations in Maine to get remote notarization going. And that enabled remote notarization. Executive Order 37A was issued either on Friday or Saturday, amending that order, adding 2 more days onto the turnaround for the signatory to get the original document to the witness, and for the witness to get the original document to the next witness, and and to get time to get it to the notary. Each one of those was given 40, each one of those segments of time was set up for a 48-hour turnaround. Now it was amended to allow for 96 hours, so 4 days for the turnaround, which relieves a little bit of the pressure from the parties that were on the parties involved. I wanted to briefly touch base too about FM notice or notice FM-224, which was what we had discussed last week as sort of like a clarifier to the newly updated PMO SJC-1, which added the ability to have heard uncontested matters, mostly relating to family cases. And the clarification that we got with that FM-224 notice was that these uncontested hearings would still be outside of the court. So just wanted to make sure we had clarification there too. All right, well, we have a special guest, our district governor, Jack Tebbetts, who's joining us. And I asked him to speak a little bit about how things are going on in the courts he's involved with in mostly the county, right, Jack?
Right.
Please, you've got the floor.
Sure. So hi, everyone. My name's Jack Tebbetts. I'm a lawyer up in Presque Isle. In my practice primarily focuses on criminal defense and child protective cases, mostly court appointed. And so I deal with cases all the way from Madawaska and Fort Kent down to Holton. So there's been a big geographical area that I have to cover. And I mean, that's common for most lawyers up here. And it's been kind of fascinating to see how the courts have been dealing with these issues over the past month and a half or so. They have been really receptive to thinking outside the box and doing uncontested child protective hearings by way of ITV. So I had an agreement for a Jeopardy hearing last week that I was able to do from my laptop in my office. So all the parties could be remotely, and we just were video conferencing with Justice Nelson, and it worked very well, we thought. We've also been able to do, I've been able to do a Rule 11 plea for a felony via ITV. So I actually went to the courthouse, but my client didn't have to be transported from the jail to be there. He acknowledged that he had the right to do that, and Justice Stewart went over making sure that he understood his rights to be physically there. But where my client didn't want the hassle of being transported up here, and quite frankly didn't want to risk exposure to everyone else, it really worked well in a case where it was there was an agreement. So I think that the court seems to be very receptive to working through these issues, and there have been definitely some hiccups along the way. The first plea that I tried to do on by ITV ended up a nightmare that took 3 times longer than it should have. But I think as we're getting used to this, I think that the courts are starting to build new habits that might continue even after the court system opens up completely, just save some of the travel time from the lawyers up here. So, and people are being much more receptive to ITV and phone conferences. You're still on mute, Thad.
Jack, have you noticed how the clerks essentially in all these courts up there are at least responding to uh, filings and hearings requests, etc.?
They seem to be responding fairly well. There's been some issues about making sure that while there's email, people are asking for hearings on email, especially for guys who are in jail, making sure that all the parties are aware of it before we have contested bail hearings. There was an issue with one lawyer not copying the DA's office on that. But outside of that hiccup, they seem to be very receptive for those kind of core cases of getting hearings and getting people in there and accepting filings by email, especially for remote participation. Especially if it's a last minute thing where if I work out an agreement on Friday for a Tuesday hearing, they're able to, will receive my motion to participate remotely, and they're much more receptive to that.
Now, Jack, have you been involved in a plea to reduce someone's sentence while they're in jail pursuant to this COVID-19 mandate?
Not someone who's already been sentenced, but more people who have been on probation. They've been getting better deals than they would have gotten otherwise. And
Okay.
so depending on the case, the DA's office, to their credit, has been very creative in trying to work with us. And so there's been some, for lack of a better term, low-hanging fruit of guys who've been in jail pre-conviction who they've got given fairly decent deals to, just to get them out there and reduce the jail population. Jail population's down about 45% from where it was pre-virus. And so other guys who are kind of more questionable, they've been working out deals where the guys have to do house arrest. So one of my clients had a number of drug charges. He got sentenced to 9 months to serve, and then he has to be on house arrest from the day he's released, which should be Wednesday, if my math is correct, until September 1st. He's on house arrest, and if he doesn't do that, he violates his probation. So they're working creatively here to kind of get everyone's goals accomplished of me getting my clients out of jail so they're safer, while at the same time making sure that the community is protected.
Thank you, Jack. I appreciate it. And I'm ready to switch to Angela Armstrong to give us some updates on our business side. And Jack, if you have anything to throw in on the business side updates, go ahead and chime in.
Will do.
Thanks for joining us today, Jack. Good to see you. So I just have a couple of items. First of all, for those of you who know, we are still running our Law Day contest. Law Day is May 1st, which is Friday. Obviously, it's been a little bit different this year because we don't have kids in school. So we've kept it going. We have received some submissions, not as many as we did last year, but we were hopeful that maybe some parents would jump on this as an option for their kids to do at home in lieu of other work that they either don't have or are looking for some projects. So if you have kids and you want to submit something by, it has to be postmarked by April 30th. Please let your kids know about the contest. All the information is available on our website. You can see.
And I'd just like to piggyback on that too, Angela. If you do send a contest application or a submittal, please inform the teacher at your school that you've done it too.
Yeah,
thank you.
That's great. And you can see we've got some upcoming guests the rest of this week. And on it's not on the slide here, but I want to mention that as of right now, since the governor has not extended the stay-at-home order past April 30th, the Bar Association is working on a plan to get the staff back in the office. It's obviously going to be a slow process. It's going to be a stepped process. I spoke to my staff about it this morning, and we're gonna make sure that people feel safe, but also get back into the office where it is a lot easier to do our work. And I will, as we work through this process, be sharing what we're doing and ideas of what we're doing, and Thad and I and Heather are all going to be doing some research on what you guys can be doing for your offices as well. And just be on the lookout for that. That's all I have, Thad.
Thank you. Along with that, I did want to share, I think I mentioned on previous editions that I had filed one of those expeditious motions to be heard on a family case. The case involved contact between one of the parents and the child. And I did just hear back this weekend out of Rockland that the motion was denied. So I don't know if anyone has any success stories to share about expeditious motions pursuant to PMO SJC-1, but we'd certainly be grateful to hear them to get a sense of what they're being granted on. And we do have a request into the judicial branch to find that out also. All right, so Jack, any alibis?
Nope, not really.
All right, good. I think you had said that you hadn't filed one of those expeditious motions, but I know a couple persons had that had been listening in, so maybe we'll hear something more on that. On the personal side, as I had indicated in the past, I journal those things that I'm grateful for and thankful for. In this case, it's a call out or shout out to moms, in particular my mom. She's always been good at keeping my self-esteem right up there, telling me how great a job I do. I bicycled over to her house this weekend and picked up some rhubarb roots so that
Thad, you muted yourself.
yeah. Can you hear me right now? Okay, so I picked up some rhubarb roots to transplant at my house, and it was quite a feat, actually. I think those rhubarb roots actually ended up weighing probably 30 pounds that I carried in a backpack on my bike back home. So it was a little bit more of a workout than I suspected, but I did get a great workout. It was a great day Saturday, and I trust everyone got out and got some exercise, one of our 6 criteria for staying sane in this COVID-19 arena. Angela, any alibis?
Yes. From Melanie, if there is a minute left, would you please review the amendment regarding remote notarization? My internet connection lapsed. Thanks.
Sure. So I think we still have a minute left, right?
Yep, I think we're good.
All right. So I actually I thought I had printed it out right here, but yeah.
I can share my screen. I've got it.
Yeah. All right. So the order is simply this: Executive Order 37, Sections 2B, 12, 13, and 14 are amended to extend the time periods from 48 hours to 96 hours. And those time periods are the time periods to actually shepherd the original document from the signatory to the witnesses to the notary. So, could you hear me all right? All right. I keep getting these signals that say my speaker's not working, but okay.
We heard you okay, and I was able to post it here, and it is also available on the MSBA website, linked.
Perfect. Thank you, Angela. Any other things before we close out for today? We've got 2 big guest speakers tomorrow, Bill Nugent and Jonathan Dunitz, right? All right. Thank you very much, everyone.